Hey, Bridge fans, welcome to another wonderful episode of the Dextersbridgeshow. My name is Dexter, your host. Over the past couple of months, we've heard from many people. We've seen some nerve-chilling experiences, and people go through a lot. And while we're happy and thankful that they have healed, there's an aspect that always comes to question: what happens to their mental health after they go through hell and back? And it's been my wish to have a therapist, a psychotherapist, on this show to evaluate how pain and trouble impact on people's health and how it leaves them dysfunctional or otherwise after. And we are blessed to have the best of the pack on the show today. Dr. Chinedum Amene has over 16 years of clinical practice in the US. And she has experience in cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-informed therapy, crisis intervention, substance use, interpersonal psychotherapy. As a matter of fact, I would say she has broad spectrum experience in psychotherapy. And she approaches her job with compassion, empathy, warmth, and rapport as she works with clients to become the best versions of ourselves. As a matter of fact, she believes that as humans, we have an amazing capacity to heal, to grow, to change, and to recover. Bridge fans, help me make welcome Dr. Chinedum Amene.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I am so delighted to be here.
I'm very happy that you have to come all the way from the US to be on this show.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited too. I am. Yeah. Thank you for the things you do here too and the work you're working with. I won't call them patients, but people, individuals, okay. Lives. Yes.
Okay. So, what informed your deciding to go into psychotherapy?
I would say just moving to the US and having my kids. I wanted to do something different, something from, I know raising kids, I didn't want to come from the background of how, just how you were raised. So I wanted but biblical as well, but I wanted psychology. Okay. So I think my husband was the one that actually told me that you're a people person. Why don't you go into psychology? And that's how I started.
Before now, I used to have this opinion that people who are therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, these are the scary words.
Yeah, I work with psychiatrists too.
Yes.
Yes.
Why did it always appear to be weird?
No, weird. Well, it's not weird. I think there's some things that go on with people that not only psychologists, like what we do, behavioral change and behavioral modification. There's some things that medication will help. So that's where the psychiatrists come in place, where they prescribe medical for. There's something I call clinical depression. It's not just I'm sad today. There's just something neurologic that's happening that medication will help. And that's where medication comes in place. And also, it's not, you know how you have diabetes and you have high blood pressure and you take medication? That's the same thing. I always explain to people that we are physical, we are mental, and we are our soul, our spiritual. So when those three come together, the mental piece is a complete human being. So if you're having this depression that can't get away, this sadness that can't get away, it's good to go for evaluation because there's some medication that can help you. And it's not for long term, but it can help you. And with behavioral changes, can help you as well. Yeah. Okay.
Is there something about your personage that informed your going into? Yes, you said your husband told you were a people's person. Yes, but is there something about you that will surprise us that also informed your going into psychotherapy?
I think is empathy. I think that the fact that when you like I said, I was like a people person. So something about wanting to help, wanting to save somebody, and I felt like to help and save, you're going to take yourself down in doing that to get the clinical experience to be able to say, okay, how do I do this professionally where I can separate this person's emotion and not take it home with me? So I think it's empathy, just like the fact that I feel there's a calling. I'm the oldest of 6 children. Whoa. So yeah, so I think that strength of leadership to guide and protect and help, that's where my husband saw that. I was like, you're a very good listener. Maybe you should go and do this.
Listening, yeah.
Yes, because people want to talk, people want to share, and somebody to listen without judgment, someone to listen to them and understand where they're coming from. I may not know what you went through, but I can see where you're coming from. That empathy goes a long way.
Okay, now let's get into the crux of the discussion.
Yes.
We hear people throw terms around.
Yes.
I mean, people just say things, I'm sad, I'm depressed, and all that. And everybody says they are depressed. Like, I hope this doesn't get me in trouble. A few weeks ago, my wife's phone fell into the toilet. And she said she was depressed.
Yes, she was sad.
Yeah, and I hear that. So what's depression really?
So depression, that's different. I always say depression is the word, but there are many emotions that are underneath depression. And the same way when I reference when someone say I'm angry, and I'll say you're not just angry. There's something going on in it. You're either disappointed or you're or you're kind of stressed, and it comes as anger. So depression can be, I am sad today because of something. So we break down, that's why therapy is very important. We break down emotions to say, okay, I'm depressed. What is making me depressed? That's where cognitive therapy comes in place. I start thinking about, oh, okay, my phone, like you said, example, fell under. So you're thinking about, my God, my phone is destroyed, or I have to get a new phone. That is finances, that is like disrupting my day. So processing that and saying, okay, let me take a deep breath and say, how do I figure this out? Solution focused. And then you start processing, okay, I'll get the phone, I'll check and see what can I do to fix it. If it's not fixable, what else can I do? So depression comes in different, there's a mild depression, there's a major depression, there's a severe depression. So the mild depression, the everyday sadness, then the majority of the depression, something triggered it, something happened to me that's making me sad. How do I process that? And then the severe depression is where I go into trauma. That's where I go into something, grief therapy happened that's making me severe, or it's clinical. And also, my phone fell and this is, yeah, it's sad, it's disrupting your whole day. So processing it, how do I walk through today to get over this so that it doesn't take me down? That's where therapy comes in place.
Okay, when people go through physical ailments, there are things we call first aid or self-help. Is there something like that within the psychotherapy space that's either the personal sufferer or second-hand sufferers as dependents, you're around somebody who's going through a mental condition, mild or whatever you will call it. Is that self-help or like first aid?
Self-help is recognizing, people around you recognize that something is going on, and how do they support that instead of being judgmental, you know? And for yourself as well, because sometimes we're hard on ourselves. Right? So that self-help is start recognizing that something is wrong, but that's not the end of my world. I can fix this, something can be done. That positive thought, like, what can I do to change this? It's
recognizing, is that something that's insights?
Insightful that, yeah, something happened. Because you can go on your day and you can't even figure out you're sad or down, you don't know what is going on, and you just go with that emotion. But when you can self-reflection, like to figure out I am sad, and or something happened, I am depressed, or I am tired, or I am stressed, or this stuff that happened to me is making me feel disappointed in the person, or I am frustrated. So when you can put an emotion to that feeling, then you can walk through, okay, how do I get through this? Yeah.
Okay, you don't have a practice in Nigeria, but
no.
Do you think that we have, I mean, the answer is almost apparent, but do you think that we have enough focus on mental health in Nigeria, given all the madness that we go through?
No, we don't, and there's a need for that. I know the church has taken, you know, a hold of doing that, but I love what the church is doing, where people come for prayer and all that, but you do need someone that has gone through school to know, how do I help this person? Because it's one thing to recognize the problem, there's another to find solutions to that problem. There's another to say, okay, how do I support you through this? Because what therapy does is give you insight. Because I always tell my clients, they are the solution to their problem, but it needs someone to gear them towards that.
Okay, so people are the solution to their own problem.
Yes.
But then a professional is now there to guide
That is all
them.
I do, is to guide you, to tell you how you're thinking, how is that helping you? This thought you have about yourself, this low self-esteem, how is that helping you get the goal you want to go through? I use this tool especially when it comes to substance use and people that are addicted to drugs and alcohol. Everybody has a dream. Everybody wants to be something. So what is holding you back? Is this substance, this thing you're using, this stuff that is making you not get up in the morning, this stuff that's taking all your money. So the first thing we talk about is, okay, how do we get to this goal? I forget the substance abuse that you're dealing with that is taking you down. Say, okay, your goal is to finally get your own place. How are you going to get this place? Okay, I have to save money. I have to start working. So when are we going to do that? Oh, that means I have to stop smoking. So that means I have to wake up in the morning, I have to be able to go. So you see how the goals now drive that beating down the substance and all that. So that's what therapy does. That's what is that solution. That's talking to someone to process, to find out, oh, finally there's a light bulb because I'm talking about this. People don't have place to sit down and talk to somebody non-judgmental. Family is great. Family do that, but there's this throw of judgment sometimes. But when you talk to professionals that already have tools for you to cope with the situation, they help you. They process that with you. Yeah.
You actually mentioned something that, as a pastor personally, we're either shy to talk about or we just want to avoid. What's the connection between spirituality and psychotherapy?
Oh my God.
Is it? Are we fighting? Is there a conflict? Is there a place we can collaborate? So, what's the connection between the Christian faith and therapy?
I think they are one. I am. I won't call myself a Christian therapist, but I am because of the values I hold, because of my faith.
You're a Christian who is a therapist. Okay.
Exactly. And so I try to blend the two together because my thesis on my Christianity and psychotherapy has been an issue for a long time. So I always say that most of the things that we do as cognitive therapists is in the Bible. It's in the Bible. For example, as a man thinketh, so he is.
Okay.
So with that thing, as a man thinketh, so he is. And then you as a person coming in with depression and saying that, oh my God, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not good enough and all that. Hey,
you're projecting your thoughts.
Exactly. So that's where I merged Christianity and therapy together to say, so how is this thinking helping you? How is that? That just different things in the Bible I look at and I say to, like, I'll give an example of, because it's just amazing. One of my clients that's been struggling with substance and said, the good that I want to do, I can't do it. I know, exactly. I know that this is not helping me. I know this marijuana is not helping me, but I can't even stop. The Bible says it, that he struggles with good and bad. So recognizing that, okay, I can't do it of myself, I need help. I need to go somewhere where I can help because I can't do this by myself. I need someone that can guide me. So in pastoral, praying for this person, encouraging this person, telling them, okay, what's the next step? Don't shame in yourself. Because that's what happened a lot in trauma and when people go through separation or marriage. They shame themselves. They begin to sort out negative evidence that makes them feel that they're not good enough. And that's that change in the narrative and saying, no, this happened to you, but it's not, no, that doesn't stop there. What does the Bible say about you? Who are you? Yeah. Okay,
I don't mean to put you in a professional quagmire now, but let me stretch this a little further.
Okay.
As a pastor, I believe that certain psychological situations have their origin in demonic activity.
Oh boy.
Do you share that?
I don't know much about that demonic version of, but I know that when I go into like psychosis, I know when I see things in like schizophrenia and all that. I can't really talk in that much where that comes through. What's the word you just used now? Demonic. Yeah, I can, because there is clinical evidence with people that have it's hereditary. Sometimes you see some families who they've experienced, some father or someone had experienced this, hearing voices or seeing things. This is in clinical, like a hallucination or auditory hallucination too as well. That it runs in the family where somebody else will have it. And also, I see it from a clinical view, but spiritually,
it's okay. I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. And I don't mean to, like I said, to put you
I understand.
in that space. Yeah. But you see, just like in other areas of medicine, there are situations that have known causes, either lifestyle, nutritional, genetic, but there are other situations that the doctor will tell you there's no known cause.
Yeah.
We can't find any medical or clinical connection.
Yeah.
So if we apply that same analogy to psychotherapy and all that, so if you can't find a genetic or lifestyle or behavioral that's leading somebody in certain dysfunctional behavior, and you can say there's no known cause, but we know there's a problem. So is that
where the pastor comes in?
Is that where the pastor can now deduce that, okay, this might have
a spiritual connotation? Yes, you can say that. Yeah,
okay, we can say that.
Yes, you can.
But again, we don't want pastors to
just jump
attribute every
everything.
psychological problem to a demonic activity.
Yes, because there's some things that are learned behaviors from origin that people have learned. Like I said earlier on, when I wanted to go into this field, I wanted to learn how to healthy doing something, because there's some things you learn growing up. Oh, this is what I saw my dad do. This is what I saw my mother do. So I never saw my dad cook in the kitchen. So why am I going to cook in the kitchen? There's a man who say that, and I'm like, how does that help you right now with your family? Your wife needs help. So how are you going to help her right now? So there are things that are behavioral that we learn that it doesn't help us as we progress in life, and to changing and learning and relearning is what therapy helps you to do. It does, because okay, in the family function, this is not working. What are you doing that is making it this way? And you say, well, this is how we've always done it, but does that make it right? So those are the things therapy helps you to say it, because not everything is clinical something. There's a behavior that needs to change for you to have this happy life. There's a behavior that needs to, yeah.
It's been a very beautiful conversation so far with Dr. Chinedum Amene. And I talk with people and I see people going through trouble, especially relational troubles. A husband or a wife, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and one of the two is causing the other person pain. Now, the issue is that the other person who is causing the pain has refused to accept the fact that something's wrong with me, and I'm projecting that dysfunctionality to the other person that's causing them pain. And we have to always pause and ask ourselves, this very notion that I'm holding very, very tight onto, how is it helping? How is it helping me first? Then how is it hurting other people? Mm-hmm. So we have to come to a point where we ask ourselves these very salient questions. It's been very nice talking with you and going into these issues. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. I believe you learned a lot from it. There is more. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on other social media platforms so you can see more interesting content and let others see the same thing that you have seen. Thank you.